So I will continue from where I left yesterday, and I will give you time to do the practical stuff. But before that, I wanted to explain you, and then after a few lessons, I will give you the task so that you can practice the React basics. So yesterday we built this page, and if you see the hobbies are the array, and to display the array, when I just put the hobby variable, it was just showing this without any comma or without any space. Just all the hobbies were displayed it here. So today we will convert these hobbies in this format, that is UL and li tag. So let's do that task. So right now we have hobbies as an array, and we need to convert it into the UL and li. So to convert into UL and li, first I will create the UL tag. So UL tag is created, and I want to put ending UL tag also. Okay, so we have UL and UL tag. Now under UL tag, we need the li tag for each of these elements in the array. So we have to loop these hobbies. So how to loop the hobbies? We will go inside the UL tag. Since this hobbies is the JavaScript part, it is an array. So anything which we want to put JavaScript inside this HTML part, we have to start with the curly bracket. If we don't put curly bracket for JavaScript, it will not work. It will break the things. We cannot use hobbies directly inside here. We have to put it inside the curly bracket like this. So all the variable names should be inside the curly bracket, and any JavaScript code should be inside the curly bracket inside the return block. Outside the return block, we are writing JavaScript as it is without any curly bracket or without anything. But once we are inside this HTML part and we want to put JavaScript, it should go inside the curly bracket. Now we have to loop through these hobbies. To loop through the hobbies, we will use the special function of the array which we did in few days back, that is called the map. And the map has a parameter called the arrow function inside it. So inside we call this hobbies variable and we process it through the map. Since it is an array, map will work on the array. And inside the map we have to create the arrow function. And in the round bracket we will get two variables. One is called the record and one is called the index. And in this case, record will be, first time we will get chase, second time it will go movies, third time it will loop, it will be eating. And index will be, first time it will be 0, second time it will be 1, third time it will be 2. So we can access element also, we can access index also for each of this element of the array. And once we are inside the map, we have to return something, because map will not work without return statement. So we need to return something. So what we need to return something? We have to return this li tag. So we need to return li tag. And inside this li tag, we have to put record, because record is nothing but each element. Like first time it is chase, second time it is movie, third time it is eating. Let's try to do console.log also of the record. I will also do the console.log of index to show you how the index is processing. Okay, so what I did, I call the map on the hobbies. Since hobbies is the array, so map will work, and we have arrow function inside the map. And in the arrow function we get two parameters. One is called the record and one is the index. For the first one, I will get the record as chase and index as 0. For the second one, I will get record as movies, index as 1. For the third one, I will get record as eating and index as 2. I did console.log of index and record, and I'm printing record, that is chase, movies, and li inside the li tag. Let's see how it looks in the browser. So I'll refresh it. So you will see record is chase, index is 0, record is chase. Index is 1, record is movies. Index is 2, record is eating. So we got all the elements of the array here in the console.log. But we are also getting some warning. It's saying each child in the list should have the unique key prop. So when we create the map in the React, we always have to give the key, and this key should be the unique key. Okay, maybe I can say record because all record are unique. If you feel records are not unique, you can put index also. Let's put index. But index is not the 100% right, but in this case index is okay because we are learning. But instead of index, we should either put some unique value, whichever we will get it here. Now let me refresh it, and you will see I'm getting no warning, and I'm getting all in a different li tag. So this is how we loop through the array and we display the array inside the React element. Let's do a little bit more drilling on this array part and how we will display it. Let me delete this part so that I can only show chase, movies and eating. Now I'll create another array. You have to tell me how you will write this hobbies and map part. Right now it is hobbies. I will create another variable and then I will ask you how will you create this map part. Before I go further, did you understood how I am looping the hobbies and displaying the record? Or you need to know more understanding on this part? So my question is, did you understood how I created the array and I loop through the array? Ole, I don't want to know from you because you were in the last year, so you already know that. So I want to ask other students. Okay, since I got yes from couple of students, let me do one more drilling and then we will go to little bit complex array. So let's create another array, constant, maybe I can say people. So this array will be having the list of people. For example, Jack Bauer. Another will be Tony Almeida. Third will be Nina Myers. Fourth will be XYZ. I don't know, whatever it is. Now I have to loop through these people and display the name here. So I'll create another UL and I have to write the map for this UL. So I want you to write down the li tag, the map with li tag, like we did with hobbies. I want you to write something for this UL tag. So you have to write it in your notepad and paste it in the chat so that I can see how you are writing it. So just do similar thing for the people in this UL tag. If you have not created the project, it's okay. Just write down in notepad how will you loop through the people and display each of the person in this people list. Anyone? Anyone want to answer? I'm waiting for you. Just loop through the people and display the name, each name in this UL tag. Okay, if you are not done, tell me what I should start with here. Just do one by one step. What should I write down here? Okay, one person has done people.map item index. Okay, so you have done correctly, but you have not put the key here. So warning sign will come. So let's do that. It's okay, but he has tried correctly. So what I will do, I will use the people. Yeah, right. Key equal to index. So what I'm doing, I will go with people and I will do map and I will create arrow function inside it. Okay, inside it I will create arrow function and I will put as, for example, record and index. You can keep the name same because this has the scope of this curly bracket only, and this record will have a scope of this curly bracket. And then I will say return li with key equal to index, and here I will say record, and I will say li. Now let's see what it displays on the screen. So I refresh it. So I'm getting this chess movies eating, and I'm getting correctly all the names. The problem is here, this index should be unique, though it is not displaying any warning now, but we should try to make index unique for both of them. So I cannot keep index here also, and this will start with 0, 1, 2. This will also start with 0, 1, 2. Then the key will overlap. Though it's not visible to you, but it is understood. I am putting index. That means it will go with 0, 1, 2. It will also go with 0, 1, and 2. So we should not keep the index same for both the li tag. So either you can just if you feel these names are unique, just use record here, so that it should be unique. We are not copying it. And since we are not using index, we can delete the index part. Okay, let's delete the index part. Okay, so now also we are able to see the result, but now the case is different. We have the unique key. Okay, here we have different key, and for the second one we have different key. So always make sure that key should be different. Even though both the li tag are in different UL, then also we should keep the key as a unique in all of this component. Okay, in this component we should keep the key as a unique. That is what the idea is. Now let's try to take another complex array and see how we are doing. This is the array of objects. I'll create another one. I'll say addresses is equal to, it is an array. Always we have to use the array. Object does not make any sense. In real world it's all array. So here I will create list of few objects with different addresses. For example, the first time I will say city is Fremont, state is CA, and country is USA. Okay, so I have the array of addresses. So first has city, state, country as like this, and maybe I can have one ID also. ID maybe I can say A. I will create unique ID, so unique ID to know that this is different record than this record. And in the second case I will say ID is B, city is Mumbai, state is Maharashtra, MH, and country is India. Okay, so this is the second one, and in the third one I will create ID as C, and I will make city as Austin, and state as Texas, and country as USA. Okay, so we have three record of the addresses. Now we will loop through these three records and see how we are displaying it. Okay, so let's create another UL tag. Okay, so in that I will loop through the addresses. I'll say addresses.map, and once I say map, I will create an arrow function inside it. Okay, so I created arrow function, and here I will get two things: record and index. Since we are not using index, because index may overlap with this index or this index, so using the index is not a good idea. So I'll not be using the index now. I can only use index if I want to delete some record. Maybe I want to delete this, so I need the index of it, what I want to delete it. But right now I'm not worried about delete part. I just want to display it, so I don't need index. And here what I will do, return li tag, and inside li tag I will say city is. So what will be the city? I will get this object. What will be the record? Record is nothing but this object. So if I want to display the city, I can say record.city, because this is the object. Each record is this object. So if I want to access the city, I will say record.city. And then I'll say comma state is record.state, and country is record.country. So I'm displaying city, state, and country with the record.country. But I need to put key also. Now, if I want to put key here the key will be this ID. This ID will be the unique for each of the location. So what I will put in the key, I will say record.id. I need some unique value which I want to put it for the key. If you don't put key, you will always get warning. So whenever you are doing React and whenever you are looping the array, you should always use the unique key to make it this element as a unique. Now if we see, I can see city is Fremont, state is CA, country is USA, city is Mumbai, state is this country, and all three I can display it on the screen. So this is how we display the arrays on the page. If I just say hobbies, it will only display without any space, without any comma sign. So we converted it into the li tag using the map. So map is highly used in the React. Whenever we have the array and we want to display something array, we always use the map. Okay, so this is how we process the array in the React. Now let's try to see some other things. So this is my app.js. If you have gone through yesterday's video, those who did not attend yesterday's class, you will know that this is the main component app, and we created header component, subheader component, subheader component 2, content and footer. Whereas header, subheader and subheader 2 is inside the header file, content is inside the content file, footer is inside the footer file. I can go to the header file, and if you see here we have the export default header. We have only one default export in one page, and if we want to export other things, we can export without the value of default. So we are exporting subheader, we are exporting subheader 2 also. And whenever we want to import, if it is default, I can import it directly the header without the curly bracket. But if I want to import something which is not the default, which is not exported with the default keyword, we can import with the curly bracket. So this is how we import the file from the other pages. Let's try to create some different thing now. And now I want to show you the concept of props. Now we will be doing the concept of props. What are props? So let's try to understand the props in React. I will delete all this component and let's try again with the blank thing. This is my app. Okay. Before deleting, I will save this one in some different files, because tomorrow if I want to use it, I don't want to write it again. So let me save it in the app too. Let me open app.js. So before going to props, I want to ask one thing, or I want to tell you one thing. Here I am exporting default content. and here I am importing content as content from the content file. I can name this to anything. Maybe I can say blah. I have to keep capital blah blah. Though here in the content we are exporting default as a content, but when I'm trying to import it, one second. When I'm trying to import it, I can import with any name. Okay, so though here content is exported as content with the keyword of default, but when I am importing it, I am changing the name to blah blah. It is perfectly fine to change the name when we are importing it. But this will only work for the default case. It will not work for the non-default case. So though content is created with the content component and it is exported with the content, but when I'm trying to import it, I can rename it to anything I want. And this will work fine as it is working. See, content is displayed here. So though I use blah, it is not exported. Blah blah is not exported here. We are not exporting blah blah. We are not creating component with the blah blah. But since it is exported with the default, when I'm importing it, I can put any name. I can name it content or blah blah or anything. Since content is a meaningful name, I will use content only. But in any case, you can change the name and you can use any name here. But this will not work with this non-default items. So for example, exporting subheader, I cannot rename it as subheader blah 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 blah. This will not work. The one only default work is this way, but all other export without default should have the same name what I am exporting as. So here in this case, subheader is the name, so I should only import as a subheader. So that is the difference between this default and I export without default key. What is the difference? The non-default I have to import exactly name like subheader or subheader 2. The one which is as default has to be imported with name. Here I can name, but it should be capital letter. And then I can call this the input header. Since it was exported as default, I can change the name here. But I cannot change the name for these two when importing it. Okay. There are a few more things to understand here, which I will explain tomorrow, not today. Now let's try to do the top. I will delete this all components and here is starting point. Okay. So if I create a component called as maybe content, I will create another component content and it is the arrow function. And here I want to display something. Maybe I will say return. I will say date. So what I want to return? I want to return name with some name. We will create another div inside it. So here I want to display name and I want to display age and I want to display maybe gender. So I want to display three things here in this content and I will call this something. I will just put exercise 2. Okay, so now I want to call this content component here. I have 10 people or I have 2 people which I want to show this information. So that means I should pass this content 2 times. If I pass this for 2 times, this whole part will be 2 times on the page. What I want to do in the first time is displayed. I want this different name, and when I call second time, I want to put different name, age, and gender should be different. Every time I call the content, right? Name and gender is there, and it is displayed 2 times. I put content 2 times. If I put content 4 times, it will display all this information. So getting name 4 times. let's put HR tag. So we have first time, second time, and third time, and fourth time. So I'm calling content component 4 times. But what I want to do is the first time I want different name, in the second time I want different age, and in all time I want different gender, age, different name. So let's see how I can pass name, age, and gender from app component to content component. So for example, first time in the first component I will say name equal to, and here I can put double quotation or single quotation, and if it is variable I can use curly bracket. Right now there is no variable, so I will put double quotation. I will put Jack Bauer. What I did in the first time, I put name as Jack Bauer, and I want to access this name here in this part here. So to access this name, it is spelling NAME. This name will come inside the content component in the form of props. So here I will put say props. So if I want to see what are the props, I will do console.log, and I will say props is voice is not clear. Is it happening for everyone? Is my voice not clear? Hello, can you hear me properly? Okay, maybe Ashok Kumar, you need to, sometime it's breaking. Okay, now it's good. Okay, so just let me know when it breaks so that I can repeat the stuff. Now it's fine. Okay, so I am passing name as a parameter in this content component. So this goes as an attribute like this, name as Jack Bauer. Now I want to access this name inside my content component, and all this parameter which I will pass here, for example, I will pass age equal to, since I want to pass numeric, I can say curly bracket, and inside curly bracket I will say 34, and I will pass gender equal to male. So I pass 3 parameters here, name, age, and gender, and all these 3 parameters will go as an object, as a props. So if I want to see, I will say props. So I will see what props are coming in this content component. I refresh the page, you will see first time I'm getting props as a name, age, and gender, and in all 3 cases, other 3 cases, I'm not getting anything. Why I'm not getting anything? Because I'm passing name, age, and gender only for the first case. I'm not passing it for second, third, fourth case. Let's try to pass for other cases also. I will say Tony, age 20, and gender male. Then I will say name. I will say Nina, and I will give age of 26, and I will say gender of female. And in the fourth case, I will say name equal to as, maybe I can say XYZ, age equal to 33, and gender equal to female, for example. So I'm passing now all the information for all the cases of the content. Content is a component which expects name, age, and gender, and all these 3 things will come as a parameter or as an attribute in this content. There's an object. And what will be the object? Props. You can change the name to anything, XXXX, and you can name it as X, take it as XXXX. Whatever you want, you can put it. Since the props is the term, I will use props now, but you can rename it to anything. Now, if I refresh the page, you see in the first case I'm getting Jack Bauer, age, and gender. Second case I'm getting Tony. Third I'm getting Nina. Fourth I'm getting XYZ. So what we are doing, we are getting name, age, and gender as a props inside this content component, and we call this content component 4 times different value, and we can access this content component with those values here. Now, if I want to display the name here, I will say props dot name. Since it is an object, we get props.name. And here I will say props.age. Here I will say props.gender. So though component is only one, but since we are passing different value, it is showing dynamic value from this attributes which we are passing. So many times you have to build some component which is very complex, and you have to reuse it multiple times by passing different values. So you can do that. You can create a component, pass different attributes, and make as complex as you want. But since the parameter will be changed, based on the parameter, you will display the value here. Now if I refresh it, you will see name is coming differently in all the 4 cases, because we are passing props as different in all the cases. So this is called the props. Props means what? We are passing the variables to this component, and we are accessing these variables using the object, and this object is called props. Okay, so is this clear? What is the meaning of props? So many times in React, what's happening that we need to create a component and it is too complex, and you don't want to build that component again and again. If you have written this HTML part, you don't want to write down this HTML part again and again if it is reused in your page. So what you do, you just pass the parameters and access those parameters as a props. This is the name which I gave here. It is an object, but you can name it anything, whatever you want. Tomorrow if you want, you can put X. So you can access it with the X. Then also it will work. So now also it is working, though I pass X. So this name, props is only the name, the meaning of what we are doing, but in reality you can name it anything which you want. Okay, so this is the one part of the props which we did today. Now what we will do, I will ask you, whatever I am doing in this video, you should practice it after the class. You know, this React Basics has too many things in it, and if I ask you to do in the class same thing, it will take a lot of time, and we may end up 2-3 months to only complete the React part. So I will not do this thing in the class. So after the class, you watch the video and try to do the things as I'm doing it here. This will save both of our time, and you will be able to quickly cover the React part. So React and few other things we will do like this. You will not do the things in the class. You have to do after the class. But try to make sure you do the things after the class. Otherwise, you will not be able to understand the new things which I will be teaching. Okay, let's do the props. One more exercise on the props. Okay, I will save this as apps 3. So go through this video today and try to do same thing what I did here. Okay, now I'll open app again. Let's try to do the props again. Okay, so what here I will do, I will create an array. So maybe I'll say constant people is equal to array, and array has object. I will right now create 2 objects only, and in the first object I will say first name as a Jack and last name as Bauer. So this is my first object, and I will create another object inside the array as first name as Tony and last name as Almeida. Okay, so this is my people. Now what I will do, I will create one component, display. I will name the component as display. Okay, I will ask you the questions. Okay, I will create a component display. Here I want to display something. For example, what I want to display? I want to display first name as first name and the last name. So I want to display first name and last name. So if I want to display the first name, what changes I will do in this component? So first change, what I will pass here? I'm asking you, what should I put it inside the bracket? Props. So I will put it here, props. Now what I will put it here in this name, because I want to display the first name. So what should I put it here? Props dot first name. So I'll put in the curly bracket props dot first name. Okay, what should I put it here? Props dot last name. Okay, like props dot last name. I have to match the variable name first name from this. I have to match last name variable from this. So both should have same spelling. If you change the spelling, it will not work. Okay, now what I have to do? I have to loop through this people. So how will I loop here? Can anyone tell me how will I loop here? Using map, correct, using map. So I will say curly bracket, I will say people dot map, and I will put round bracket, and inside map I will use the arrow function. Okay, arrow function will have record and index, though index will not be used, but okay, so I'll delete the index. To make this unique, each people I will also give ID so that it should be unique. So ID will be 1 in the first case and ID will be 2 in the second case. So I'm just trying to put a unique ID. Okay, because I want to use a key and key should be unique. Now what I will do, I will return. What I have to return? I have to return now display component, because I want to pass this each information to the display component. So in the return, I will call the display component. I want to call the display component. Now tell me, I have to pass first name and last name as a property. So what I will write it here. What I will pass. How will I pass? First name as a Jack in the first case. Second name, first name Tony as a in the second case. How will I pass it here? What should I write here? Okay, first name is Jack. Since Jack is, you are saying Jack, first name is Jack hard coded, since it is looping through. So once it is looping, I don't know the real value of Jack. So I cannot say first name equal to Jack, because I don't want to hard code Jack. I will not write down this 2 times, 3 times. Since I am looping through, that means array is looping. So I don't want to pass first name as Jack. So what should I pass first name as? Because I want to the first name from this line. Okay, so we have to pass first name equal to record dot first name. Since this information is in the record, so I have to say first name equal to, since it is a variable, I will say curly bracket and I will pass record dot first name. So in the first time it will pass as Jack, in the second time it will pass as Tony. So I cannot hard code this value since I am looping it. Once I am looping it, I cannot use the hard code value. I have to use dynamic value, and dynamic value is the record. And record is going, in the first case it is going this one, and in the second case it is going this one. Now I want to pass the last name to display component. What should I write down here? Last name equal to record dot last. So here I have to say last name. Since I want to take the last name like this, I'll say last name equal to, where will be the last name in this case? It will be the record, and inside the record we have the last name here. So I will say record dot last name. So when I am saying this, So first name is going as a Jack, and first time last name is going as a Bauer. Second time when it goes, because this is a map, that means it is looping the array. Second time first name will go as a Tony and last name will go as a Almeida. Let's see how it looks now. So here I'm getting first name Jack Bauer, second time it is getting Tony Almeida, but I'm still getting this warning that key is missing. So we need to pass key also here. I cannot put key here, because wherever map starts, that is here, this first part, we have to put key here. And in the key, I have to put anything. Maybe I can say record.id. Since record.id is a unique, so I will put key as record.id. And when I refresh it, I am getting all with different name and value. So this is how we pass. We create a component, and we create the array. We process through the array, and we call the component with different parameters. And this parameters is called props, and we can display different parameters, props, value based on what we are passing it here. In the first case, when I was showing you, I was passing props as a hard code value, and I'm passing content 4 times. But now what I'm doing, I'm using the array, so I have to write the component only one time. I will not write down the display 4 times, because tomorrow this array may grow larger and larger. So we need to use this map function and call this component only one time. Though it will be called 2 times because it has the 2 values in the array. But right now we have to only call it one time, because map, we are using a map. Okay, this is how we loop through the array and display content, display component, and we pass the attributes as a props. Is that clear? How we call the component with different values. Okay, so now I want you to do one exercise with me. So is your React project ready? Then I will tell you to do one exercise with me. Is your React project ready? If it is not there, then just create a page in your Visual Studio Code and you have to do the exercise. Now I will give you the task and you have to write down, do that task. Okay, so you have to build display yourself. You have to build the array yourself. I will guide you the array which you have to do, and you have to build this part yourself. Okay, so let me give you the task. So the first thing which you have to do is create a component which will show following things. Okay, what it will show? It will show maybe the name, some name. So it's called patient's name. I will say patient's name. So patient's name will be maybe example Jack Power. Okay, then so component will show patient's name. Then it will show treat diagnosis, maybe whatever he has problem diagnosis. So maybe I can say he has high blood pressure. Okay, so then third thing we will show treatment type. What treatment type he took, whether he took allopathy or homeopathy or Ayurvedic. So let's say allopathy, he took allopathy. Next will be, so if you have React project ready, you can write in app.js, and if you don't have a React project, then just write down in any notebook or notepad or any page in the Visual Studio Code only. So what we have to do, we have to display this thing. Okay, patient name, diagnosis, treatment type, and result. Result will be Uh, so maybe result can be either person can say very effective, or he can say no effect, or he can say mild effect. Then one more thing you have to add in display. You have to do this now. I will give you 5 to 10 minutes to finish this. And the result is very effective, no effect, or medicine which he took, or treatment which he took. Maybe he said he took medicine called as amlodipine. Okay, he took the medicine amlodipine 5 milligram, for example. Just whatever he took, he will write down. And then he will put the result, whether it was very effective, no effect, and mild effect. And he will put description. So here he will explain how it was effective, or how it was no effect, or how it was mild effect. So he will put his comments. This treatment was very effective. It decreases my blood pressure in 5 minutes, for example. Okay, whatever he want to say, he will say. So this is the display which you will put it inside this display part. Okay, you can rename it to different one. Don't put it display. You can say content, or you can say result. Something, change the name of the component. Don't put display, which I have done it. So this is the part you will show in the display part. Now array. So you will create an array. Now you have to create your own name. You have to put your own diagnosis, own treatment, uh, medicine, own result and description. The array will look like this one. So this is the array will look like. So it will be object. I will not put everything in detail, but I will show you the some idea. Maybe you can put ID, and you can put name, which will be the patient's name. Maybe whatever you want to put in your case. And create the array like this: diagnosis, treatment type, treatment, result, description. So maybe you can say constant array equal to. So I created 2 blocks. You can also create 2 or 3, whatever block you want to create, and just put different name in this array. So this will be your array. Okay, so this will be the array. Build some multiple objects. This is the one patient. You can build 2, 3 patients, and then loop through this array and call the component, this component, and do this in 5 minutes. I want you to complete this in 5 minutes, and let me see how you're doing. So this is what I want you to do. So instead of this array, you will build this array. Instead of this display, you will build this display, and you will loop through the array. Okay, so this is the task which you have to do. I'll give you 5 minutes, and then I will close in 5 minutes. You have 5 minutes to complete this project. You can see my part also. I will open it 2 times in 2 view. Okay, so in the first view, I will show you what you have to do, and in the second view, you can see how the coding is there. Okay, so just let me know when you're done. Okay, so that's all for today. So just do this and show me tomorrow. Is that okay?